In the previous lesson, we discussed the more advanced settings that we can apply to materials in Vray for Blender. And so we can access the Vray node and also the node panel on the right to access more features, more values, more parameters for the materials. We made some examples about opacity, materials, and transparency, but also metallic and mirroring materials and using lights. So like the emissive channel, and how we can use that with a cutout effect. So I can apply graphics like decals on another material, and like we use also other types of material like car paint and HRM4 material, and also the blend material, and so on. So we conclude the parts about the material. In this video, the first video here dedicated to the render, we're gonna start working closely with the render settings and the V-Ray frame buffer. So I started a new scene here, do some quick setup for the V-Ray that we already know from previous lessons. And we're gonna spend more time here in the properties panel. And we're gonna start building a scene and start this time not using the interactive rendering, but we're gonna focus more on the production render, which is essentially the one that is gonna run mainly here in the V-Ray frame buffer. And then we can work on those renderings. We can adjust them. We can, if you have like more screens, you can also use this because it gets like above everything else. So it's um, it's gonna be here on overriding everything on top of everything. So we can run here also a region render. We saw we can do that with the interactive render inside Blender, but we can do it also in here. And then we have a bunch of options here. We can save the render, the final render that we do, and we have some menus here for the zoom, etc. And we can save also from here. So there are some icons here that are the same thing that you find in the menus. And follow mouse also is to guide the buckets, which is another mode to render. But we're gonna see this more closely in just a minute. So what I want to do is set up a really quick scene to do some product visualization, product render. So we're gonna do something really simple with an IBL or image-based render, image-based lining, and image-based render. And I'm gonna add with Chaos Cosmos here some vehicles. Let's say that I want to do a render about this motorcycle. So I want to get this motorcycle here, but I want to add also some other stuff. Like for example, here in the vehicles, you will find like a yacht. And of course, we're gonna add some people to make things more interesting. I was thinking about someone doing sports, so I'm just gonna import these assets, and right now they are in the scene. So I can just I want to delete the light that is in the scene right now because we don't need an omni light. I'm just going to use a dome light with again image-based lining setting, so just one single image. So I'm going to go to V-Ray light, add a dome light, and of course I'm going quick with this because we already discovered all of this stuff in the previous lesson. So I'm just going quick to set up the scene. And now if we start to render out the scene, we will, well, if you don't put any light, of course it's going to be black. If you put just one dome light, you should see some really white and flat lining at the beginning, but then we will add an HDRI, so to have a bit more of reflections and background, etc. Okay, now what we're seeing here, well, basically we are zooming on a small window of the yacht, but why? Because when you run the production render differently from the interactive render, that's gonna consider the camera position. So this is the original camera that we find in Blender. It's right there, and this is right now the only camera we have. So we're gonna start to create more cameras and also adjust more cameras. One thing we can do is get into the camera and then lock the camera to the view set so that we can move around and we can change the view. We can make another more interesting view than the previous one. So this one here is relatively new feature, the locker right there that is going to lock and unlock the view to the camera, so you can adjust the view and the camera. And so if I run another render now, I just position the various objects all around, but if I run just another one just to see the difference, you will see another, you know, type of shot. There you go. So now the camera has changed the position, and this is now sorry, this is the interactive render. So interactive render is basically what you're seeing in the viewport. The production render instead is this teapot right there, the last one on the right, and this is what you're gonna see in the camera. So there is a bit of difference between the interactive and the production. So once you're finished the production render, you can zoom in, you can zoom out in the V-Ray frame buffer. You can see the little pixel, and that's about the resolution. So resolution, it's how many pixels you want to use, and that's really important also for the quality. And we can also activate the history. So what history means is that everything you're gonna do, whether it's gonna be an interactive rendering or a production rendering, is gonna be memorized in this list. So you can just go back and forward, and you can click there, and then you can manage here the settings for the history. So you can decide how many memory you want to dedicate to saving these images. You can pick a folder where to store them, or you can use the project folder. So in my case, I want to use my Videocourse folder here. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it render history, and everything I will do will go there. So that's when I'm going to retrieve eventually the images, but they're gonna also be visible in the history panel on the left. So we have a left side of the V-Ray frame buffer and a right side that are a little bit different. We're gonna see them a little bit. And you can also save, so save automatically without every time saving manually. So you can activate auto save right there if it's not activated. And also you have the option to save, to auto save, to automatically save everything, including the non-completed um, renders. So if you want to save everything, just leave that unmarked. And then you have other settings here, like for example, where you want to see the thumbnails that you generate, how big do you want the thumbnails, what is going to be the ratio, if it's going to be like flats, widescreen, or 4:3, and you can center, you can fit outside, inside. Well, this is not really interesting. You can put, for example, I use the default here, which is fit outside, so you can see basically the whole render within the frame. And then you can save and close the settings, and now you're ready. So now everything you're gonna render, whether again it's a production render, so if you click on the teapot, or an interactive render that you do in the Blender view, or also here if you press the little teapot with the green triangle, that's the interactive rendering. But anything you do is going to be added to the list. If it's not going to be added automatically, you can add it manually clicking on the plus icon there in the history. But it should save it automatically because we set up this feature directly in the settings. So you can see also the timing down there. So how much time is left, and how much time was spent to create this render. You can also see it in the thumbnail. You can see the resolution, and you can see it's full HD right now, and you can see the timing. So about 33 seconds to do this really simple render with just one light, few objects, few models from Chaos Cosmos. And you can also open the render that you select in the preview. You can delete the renders. Now, what I want to do is add an HDRI to make things a little bit more interesting, as we already done again in a previous lesson. So I'm just going to go quick, select one of these Venice HDRIs that we find in Polyhaven. I think this one is really nice because it has a nice sunset. And I'm going to go with 8K now because, I want to use this as a background, not only as a lining and as reflections. I want to use it for everything. So in this case, it's going to be, again, an image-based lighting and an image-based render. So I'm going to go in the dome line, and again, I'm going to set up, as we already know how to do. So just import the HDRI as a bitmap, plug it into the diffuse, and just, okay, sometimes you don't see it, just wait, because it's a really big texture. And you can also turn it on and off. You can make it invisible. That means that you can render a PNG without the background. So kind of with the alpha channel that you can reuse in another graphic design application. Okay, now all I'm doing is just creating